I first met Pam in the summer of 1982. She had these amazing paintings nailed to the wall, and she started talking about her favorite painters. That's how I first met Pam, and we became good friends because we both wrote poetry at the time, and she was just a wonderful person. I would say her paintings kind of are a mixture of an abstraction and realism at the same time. And the end result is something very emotional.
And I was very impressed with her technical ability, how her paintings made me feel, the bright colors, but also her modesty. She didn't think of them as wonderful paintings like we did.
It was her release. It's the way she expressed herself to the world. It was kind of a calling for her.
There was a great satisfaction she got out of painting. She mentioned that more than once. And she would redo paintings, add to them, or in some cases paint over them with a whole new image. I got the impression it was because she did not have that many canvases to work with. I believe that Pam was a self-taught artist. Her works appeared to be very personal. They were concerning subjects that she loved, like nature or animals. And they had a personal nature to them.
These paintings, they're kind of an inside look in her emotions and, unfortunately, her mental illness.
I did not know that Pam had schizophrenia. I did not know anything about her medical condition, probably for months later.
Back then, mental illness was looked upon as something to be ashamed of, not really talked about, or if you had a family member that was mentally ill, somehow that reflected on you also as a person. She felt part of an ostracized group, and she talks about that in her poetry and her journals.
I can only speak for the times that I saw her, only 3 times at her house. And because we were mesmerized by her paintings, she was very happy to talk about them. So she was very proud of them. She would show us her favorite ones. We would ask where she got the idea for this one or that one. And she had many books, including Beyond Nature and Animals books on outer space scenes, which seemed to interest her in many of her paintings. So she was very happy to talk about her paintings. Her life seemed to revolve around her paintings. She was very shy and quiet, almost a hermit, it seemed like to me, in that house, sheltered from the big world that it was almost like she was a gentle spirit that was not really meant for this world.
Her mental illness did progressively get worse, and I think it showed that in her paintings, oddly enough. The last painting she did was entitled The Green Blade, which she painted basically a month before she committed suicide. On May 9th, 1985, from what I understand, she had went to the corner gas station with a gas can, got gasoline, and returned to her home and doused herself with gasoline, had set herself on fire in the driveway of their home.
Bob Stanley, who called me one afternoon and said, Pam is gone. And I didn't understand it at first. And then he explained the details of it, and I was shocked. It's disbelief, really, at first, and then a sense of loss.
The reason why she went she had set fire to herself in her driveway is because she wanted to spare her paintings. She said to me at one point she considered her paintings her children, so she was very connected with her paintings.
Pam does live on through her paintings. They are the only thing I have left of the memories of being with her and talking with her. I look at them each day and often I think of her. One of my experiences with Pam was when I visited my friend Bob without letting him know I'm coming, and he simply wasn't home at that time. But as I was leaving, I saw Pam and her brother walking toward Bob's house, and I knew they were going to be coming there to see my friend Bob. So I told them Bob's not home, and Pam wanted to knock on the door anyway, so she did. And we sat there and talked for a while out in the driveway. And then, after waiting about a half hour for Bob, and there was no way to contact him then, in 1984, this probably was, I thought we should walk down a block or two to a bar down the way and have a beer. So we did that. We went into what was a stripper bar, a rather rough bar in the evening, but in the middle of the afternoon it was empty. And we sat down at the bar, and Pam was in the middle, and the barmaid came and asked us what we wanted. And I said a beer, and Taryn, her brother, said a beer. And we all looked at Pam, and she said, "I'd like a Singapore sling, please." And we were shocked, and Taryn went, "You'll have a beer." And I just thought, well, that's really something. I'm not sure if she had really been in a bar before. But she had her beer, and we were drinking the beer, and before long, 4 motorcycle guys came in who looked kind of rough around the edges, and they started playing pool. And we watched them for a while, and out of the blue, Pam looked at me and said, "I want to play." I told her, I don't believe I would really want to play with them. But if you really want to, you can put a quarter on the edge of the pool table, and the general rule is that you play the winner of that game when it's finished. So we gave her a quarter, and she put it on the edge of the pool table. Afterward, they looked over at her and said, "You're up." So she went over, she got a pool cue, some chalk, and she said, "I'd rather not break." I was amazed that she even knew what a break was. But the guy said, "Okay, I will break." And he made, I think, 2 balls on his first turn and then missed. And she then was up on a game of 8 ball, and she knew to either go for stripes or solids. And she made the first 2 balls, I believe, of her first game, and we were like clapping. We were so happy to see that, because I didn't know if she knew how to play pool. The other gentleman was up then, and I think he made 1 and then missed. It was her turn again, and she made 3 balls, and we were shocked. By the end of the game, it only took her 4 turns, and she had finished her side, and she won the game. And I was beyond words. I did not understand how that could happen. But we celebrated. And I asked her, have you played pool before? She said, "A few times." And I said, "Well, how do you do so well?" She said, "It's just geometry." I didn't know what to say to that. So it was a very memorable occasion.
The disease of mental illness took so much away from her and robbed her of a wonderful life that she could have had and what she could have given the world. But I feel that Pam painted these wonderful paintings in spite of her mental illness, not because of it. It is my hope that people who do read her poetry and view her paintings come away with an appreciation that all people who struggle with mental illness should be treated with love, compassion, and understanding.